Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hello, we are continuing with our discussion on management of new products and services. We have already discussed that product, as far as this particular set of discussions are concerned, is a multi-layered concept which embraces goods and services as a continuum. We have discussed in the previous sessions the initial concepts and why products succeed, why products fail. In that context, that success and failure, an important point which I made yesterday was that a product to succeed must have synergy with the overall organization strategy. Today, we are going to discuss some fundamental aspects about strategy, and we are going to discuss how products and its features and its advantages, disadvantages related to competitive advantage, strategic advantage. So, competitive advantage and strategic advantage I am going to discuss sort of in a interchangeable way. So, competitive advantage fundamentally, which comes from the execution of a well thought out good strategy, is fundamentally as very clear the advantage that is received compared to the competition by offering consumers greater value. And as we have already discussed, greater value means offering a better way to solve the customer's pains and offering better set of gains and doing the customer's jobs better. As we have discussed earlier, that customer does not buy goods or services or combinations per se, they are fundamentally looking for a solution to a need, solution to a problem. They are looking to get rid of some pains in a particular situation, and they are looking to take advantage of some gains offered by a combination of your goods and services. Now, if you look at this particular diagram in a little bit more detail, you will understand that we can actually look at competition as a map. So, in the core, usually companies consider, this is actually taken from an sort of Eastman Kodak, and Kodak years past. You can see here that at that stage Kodak was still thinking of themselves as a film manufacturing company, and they are looking at the films that needed to be put in cameras. They made more money by selling films rather than the camera, and therefore, they looked at competition in terms of other people who made these film cameras. So, even when they thought of the digital technologies, they thought of how to transfer the physical photographs into the digital format, maybe for some editing or some manipulation, but they were still thinking in terms of the film and the camera. this is an important point, that when we want to design competitive advantages over our competitors, we should not be myopic. We should not be focusing at today's competitors. We should actually try to have peripheral vision. We should try to see how technologies are evolving and where the new attack can come from. So, as you know, I mean, Kodak, a very successful, a very brilliant and very pioneering company, who introduced so many different innovations and produced good products, but they did not recognize the tremendous strong wave that was coming from digital cameras. The digital cameras of those days were not very capable. So, their performance was the result produced, the photos they produced were still kind of not that good compared to the very advanced film cameras that were available at that time. So, they thought that this is a fad, this is a short term play toys of the customer, and this is okay for children, and they ignored it. And then, you know, they got disrupted, they practically went bankrupt, and the companies who came in with digital cameras from Japan particularly, and later on from China, they swept the market and all cameras became digital. And now you see, even the digital cameras, they were trying to make their cameras better and better in terms of digital performance. Earlier, the film cameras had SLR configuration, the single lens configuration, both for viewing as well as for producing the image to be captured. That technology was translated and it became DSLR. Lot of developments took place. Those companies which disrupted Kodak, they continued to produce better, bigger, faster digital cameras. The cameras became bigger, the cameras became heavier. Of course, lots of new features, lots of advantages for the customer. Both those values were packaged, and in an equipment which was kind of bulky, heavy, you needed to carry it in a bag, and of course, different lenses had to be fixed for different purposes, and that is why you needed that bag and you needed that size. But then they were simultaneously also producing cameras which were very compact, aim and shoot cameras which you could put in your pocket. It actually almost became a credit card size, and these cameras were also developing. But they also, these very capable cameras, and this is happening right now, and you can see this particular sweeping that change that is coming in their way, because cameras embedded in the phones, which were earlier capable of taking some momentary capturing some momentary memories, have now become so capable that many people who were actually earlier using DSLR are now shifting to their phone cameras, because the phone cameras are really now quite, and in fact they have certain features like low light image capturing capabilities which are not easily available in the bigger, larger the digital cameras. This phenomenon is very important when you actually think of a product. So, do not think of a product as a product that the functions it performs today. Always be aware of the possible disruptions in today's high velocity world. And this disruption often comes from lower capability competitors, comes from products which are not that feature rich. So, which means the attack usually comes from below, but then as it has happened in the phone cameras, as the volume increased in the camera plus phone combination, the economy of scale and the resources available made those companies put more and more effort in their development, design, and as a result those became better and better and better, and soon this attack from below actually crossed over the developments that were happening in DSLR and other traditional cameras. So, you see how the strategic myopia destroyed highly capable companies like Kodak or Fuji, and today those same companies who disrupted Kodak or Fuji are getting themselves overtaken by people who are coming with these highly capable camera phones, and certain aspects of the phone camera like selfie or groupie, those have caught the customer fancy and therefore becoming very attractive. So, this is, we call it a strategic myopia. So, when you think about creating competitive advantage for your product and service, goods and service combinations, not only look at today's strategic map, but try to imagine and be aware of all the peripheral developments that are taking place, which might in future disrupt your world. So, this is in itself a very interesting topic. Those of you who are who find it more intriguing, you can search for various discussions which are available on YouTube or on the different through the different search engines on disruptive strategies or disruptive technologies, and see how it has actually foxed very large, very capable companies in the steel industry, in the computer industry, and as we discussed just now, in the camera industry. And that will be very good for you to do if you are seriously interested to become a product manager. So, that will tell you that a product is not the configuration that you have today or the configuration that your immediate competition has. A product is solving a problem, and if there is a better way to solve that problem, then you should be aware of it, how it is coming. Actually, this myopia concept originally was very powerfully introduced by Professor Ted Levitt, who actually applied it to, he wrote a famous article which you can download it from internet, it is available free, called Marketing Myopia. So, he actually demonstrated in that particular paper, very influential paper, that how US railway industry considered themselves of the railway industry instead of thinking of themselves as a transportation solution provider, and that is why they were disrupted by the airlines and the cheap airfare, and at some point therefore passenger transportation by railways almost disappeared from US. Today it has come back more for some touristy excursions, but as a core mode of transportation, the railways lost the battle to airlines. But that same concept, even though it has been there for last so many years, several decades since Ted Levitt wrote that seminal article. The myopia continues to affect companies, and as product manager you must be very careful about this particular challenge. Considering this, I have put on your screen some names of companies providing goods and services. So, try to develop a competition map for companies like Air India, McDonald's, Bata, or Coffee Cafe Day CCD, or Google, and try to see how that map can take you beyond myopia. So, you will have to do some search, take a week, and then post your discussions, your ideas on this map in the forum. You can draw a map, that will be very nice if you can post it. If without that, you can just take one of these companies and try to discuss their competition today, their competition tomorrow, their immediate competitors, their related competitors, their distant competitors, and how movements are taking place. Who might tomorrow become the disruptor in the business in which Air India is, or Coffee Cafe Day is, or Bata is. Okay. Basic winning strategies, again these are often called generic strategies, introduced by another famous professor, Michael Porter. These generic strategies, Michael Porter, again he wrote that highly influential book, Competitive Advantage, and that competitive advantage, later on he wrote several other books on competitive strategy, competitive advantage, and so on. The key point that happened, so Professor Michael Porter from Harvard developed this concept of 3 generic strategies. According to him, when he wrote that set of papers decades back, a company must choose one of these strategies, and at that point of time he thought that a company, if it tries to pursue multiple generic strategies, it might fail. Most of the time it will fail. Today, of course, we know that a company has to be good in all 3 aspects. However, they should focus on excelling in one of these aspects. So, the 3 generic strategies that you see on your screen are overall cost leadership, being the lowest cost producer compared to your competitors, one possible focus area. The next possible focus area is differentiation, be distinctly different compared to your competitors, offer a bundle of features and advantages which are not available with your other competitors. And lastly is called focus, which is a combination of offering low cost as well as differentiation, but not for all different types of customers, but for one particular segment, one particular type of customers. So, in the focus strategy, we divide the large market in several slices and focus on that slice and do everything that is possible to be the winner for that particular slice. We will end today's discussion here, and tomorrow we will take up a little bit more in detail these 3 generic strategies and their relationship with product design, product features, and product development strategies. Thank you.